What you are feeling today on July 9 is not random. You might call it strange, a sense of tension without a cause, a feeling deep in the chest. So, restlessness, maybe even heaviness. You try to explain it with thoughts. Maybe it's stress. Maybe you didn't sleep well. Maybe it's just one of those days, but inside you know that something else is happening. There's no clear reason for it, no trigger. But the feeling is real. This moment, July 9, is not just another date. It is a checkpoint. One of those days when the invisible becomes louder than the visible. Not because something big will happen outside, but because something small is already happening within. It is easy to dismiss the signs. We are trained to explain away what we don't understand. But today, you must stop explaining, you must feel. The truth is, this sensation you carry, this shift in your inner atmosphere, it is a signal, not from the sky, not from somewhere out there. It is from within you, but the mind is not used to recognizing its own depth. So it interprets inner transformation as outer confusion. You call it strange, but it's not strange. It's sacred. There are moments in life when God doesn't speak in words. He doesn't shout. He doesn't send angels or lightning. He simply changes something inside of you, quietly. On days like July 9, you begin to feel that change, not as an answer, but as a question, a gentle pressure to pause, to reflect, to feel more deeply than usual. This is not about religion. It is about awareness. You are being invited to look at your life with honest eyes. The strange feeling is not a punishment. It is a door, a crack in your routine where the light can come in, but only if you stop running, only if you stop trying to fix the feeling and instead sit with it. Observe it, let it teach you. Your mind is used to solving, but not everything in life is a problem. Some things are messages, and the one you're receiving today is this something is shifting inside you or around you. The old patterns are no longer serving you. The thoughts that once protected you are now limiting you. The world you built out of survival is no longer the world you want to live in. That's why the feeling has arrived. That's why it came on July 9. That's why it's knocking without words. People wait for signs. But when they arrive, they don't recognize them. You expect the universe to speak in fire, but it speaks in silence, in emotion. In strange feelings that make no sense to the logical mind. The feeling today is one of those signs. Don't wait for clarity. Use the confusion as fuel. Let it push you deeper into yourself. If you're honest, you felt this coming, maybe for weeks, maybe for months. A sense that things cannot continue the way they have, that something must evolve, that you must evolve. But change doesn't begin with answers. It begins with awareness. It begins with a feeling like this. The question is not, why am I feeling this way? The question is, what is this feeling trying to show me? God doesn't force growth. He whispers the invitation. He places a mirror inside you, not to judge, but to reflect. July 9 is that mirror. What you do with it is your choice. You can cover it up, distract yourself, wait for the feeling to pass, or you can sit with it, face yourself, begin the process. Breakthrough doesn't start with action. It starts with presence. If you keep pushing away the signal, you'll miss the door. But if you stop today, if you breathe, feel, and listen, you'll realize the door has been open for a long time. You just didn't see it. Growth is not comfortable. It rarely feels good at first. It feels like uncertainty, like tension, like the strange energy you carry today. But underneath all that discomfort is the signal this is your time. Something is ready to be released. Something is calling to be transformed. You don't need to fix it. You just need to feel it, to not run from it. To trust that the message was delivered, not to hurt you, but to awaken you. Because every feeling is a teacher, and every teacher appears when you are ready. So today, on July 9, don't just move through the hours blindly. Slow down. Notice what is happening in your body, in your breath, in your thoughts. Ask yourself, what am I carrying that no longer serves me? What truth am I avoiding? What growth have I been resisting? This is the signal. This is the moment. This is the quiet beginning of a louder breakthrough. Not in the future, not after everything makes sense. Now, July 9 is not about loud messages. It's not about thunder in the sky or voices from above. It's about silence. It's about a kind of stillness that speaks louder than noise. And if you're not quiet enough within yourself, you'll miss it. Most people do. They wait for some big external sign, something obvious. But the truth is God doesn't send signs the way you expect. He doesn't shout. He moves through silence, through sensation, through a shift in your inner space that feels different. What you feel today might confuse you. You might not even have words for it. It's not sadness, not fear, not excitement either. It's something in between. A strange sense that something is changing, but you don't know what. That something is coming, but you can't see it yet. And in your search for logic, your mind will try to label it, overthink it, escape it. But this isn't meant to be solved. It's meant to be felt, to be listened to. July 9 carries energy that is not ordinary, and you know it. You can feel it, the restlessness, the quiet pressure, the, the space between your thoughts becoming louder than the thoughts themselves. This is not anxiety. This is not overthinking. This is presence trying to break through your patterns. And presence only arrives when silence is allowed. That's where God is speaking in the pauses you usually rush past. God's voice is not like human words. It doesn't enter through the ears. It enters through awareness, through feeling, through those exact moments when you stop and say, why do I feel like this today? That question is not a weakness, it's an invitation. Because what you're feeling is not just emotion, it's direction. But you'll only notice it if you stop filling your head with noise. On July 9, you are being asked to pay attention, not to the outside world, but to yourself, to your internal state, to the way your breathing changes when you slow down, to the way your chest tightens when you avoid truth. These are signals. These are messages. This is God's way of guiding you without words. We are not trained to listen this way. We are trained to react, to act fast, to seek answers immediately. But real growth doesn't begin with answers. It begins with awareness, with learning how to stay present in your discomfort, with learning how to stop chasing and start observing. Today is not for chasing. Today is for noticing. Notice how certain things no longer feel aligned. Notice how your thoughts keep returning to something unresolved. Notice how your body holds tension when you ignore the things you know you must face. This is not just you being emotional. This is you being called to change. And the calling isn't loud, it's subtle. That's why so many ignore it. They want lightning bolts. What they get is silence, but the silence is not empty. It's full. It's full of direction, full of insight, full of the truth you've been pushing away with distractions. So today, on July 9, do something different. Turn down the outside world. Turn off the noise. Sit with what you feel. Don't fix it. Just feel it. Don't analyze it. Just observe it. Let the silence teach you. Because in that silence, you'll start to hear what's real. You'll start to sense what's true, not from someone else, not from the internet, but from within. That's where real guidance begins, not through opinions, not through validation, but through direct experience of your own inner truth. That strange feeling today, it's not random. It's not a glitch in your system. It's a signal that your inner world is shifting, that your identity, your habits, your thoughts, they are all being shaken, restructured, prepared. But for what? For something bigger, for something truer, for something you haven't yet lived. And you don't need to know what that is right now. That's the mistake. Thinking that clarity must come before movement. It doesn't. First comes the feeling, the discomfort, the stillness, then comes the clarity, then the growth. But only if you stay with it, only if you don't run. This is how God guides people, quietly, without force, without noise. He lets you feel something before you see it. And if you honor the feeling, if you slow down enough to ask, what is this really about? That's when the answers start to rise, not from outside, but from within. So let today be that kind of day, a day where you stop running from the silence, a day where you stop thinking something's wrong just because you can't explain it, a day where you let the invisible do its work. Because July 9 is not about control, it's about surrender. It's about realizing that not everything sacred needs to be loud. Some of the deepest transformations begin in complete stillness. You may not understand it all now. That's okay. You're not supposed to. You you're supposed to listen. You're supposed to be present. You're supposed to allow the shift to happen without interrupting it with fear. Growth is already moving through you. Let it. Don't rush to label it. Don't fight to escape it. Just trust that this strange feeling today on July 9th is not an accident. It is the beginning of something. It is the voice of the invisible. It is the moment the universe steps back so that you can finally step in. You may think July 9 is just another day, but something inside you tells you it's not. You might not know why, but you feel it. Maybe you woke up heavier than usual. Maybe your thoughts are sharper. Or maybe there's a strange calmness in you, like something big is approaching, but silently. You can't explain it, but you know something is different. What you don't realize is this moment has been building for a long time. You didn't land here by chance. Every step, every mistake, every delay, every breakdown, it all brought you here. Most people don't see the preparation. They only see the moment something finally changes. But what they miss is that transformation doesn't begin when results appear. It begins long before that, in the unseen, in the silence, in the resistance, in the nights when you wanted to give up but didn't. That was preparation. That was alignment. Even if it didn't look like it, even if you couldn't feel it back then, July 9 is not the start. It's the reveal. You've been carrying the weight of this shift for a while now. You just didn't recognize it. You thought things were falling apart, but they were falling into place. You thought you were being delayed, but you were being built. You thought you were stuck, but your spirit was being refined. Every lesson you resisted, every pain you avoided, every situation that forced you to look at yourself, all of that was training, quiet training, invisible growth. It didn't look like success. It looked like discomfort. It looked like confusion, but it was progress. And now on July 9, you're feeling the edge of that progress. You're not imagining it. You're sensing it. This feeling today, this shift in your awareness, it's the first sign that something internal has completed its cycle. So you don't need to understand it all at once, but you do need to honor it because the person you are becoming is no longer compatible with the person you've been pretending to be. That's why you feel this pressure. That's why the old habits don't satisfy you anymore. That's why you're tired of surface level answers. This is what preparation feels like just before the breakthrough becomes visible. It doesn't feel like confidence. It feels like tension. It feels like standing at the edge of something you can't see but know is there. That's what July 9 brings. The edge, the moment where the internal and externals start to collide. You either resist the shift or you let it move you. You have to decide, not with logic, with presence, with awareness. This isn't about controlling the outcome. This is about trusting the preparation. You already walked through enough. You've already survived enough. You've already learned enough. But the shift today isn't about survival. It's about activation. It's about accepting that you are ready for the next level, even if your mind doubts it. This is what most people miss. They wait until they feel confident before they act. But growth doesn't begin with confidence. It begins with readiness. It begins with the willingness to move even while shaking. And July 9 is your reminder you are more ready than you think. Not because everything is perfect, but because you've been prepared silently through the fire of your own experience. Every time you didn't quit, every time you forgave, every time you tried again, that's what prepared you for today. You don't need to earn this breakthrough anymore. You just need to allow it. Let go of the belief that you need more time, more proof, more permission. The signal you feel today is not random. It's your inner being recognizing the alignment of this moment. So stop running. Stop doubting. Stop delaying your own evolution. Everything you've been through has led to this moment, and it wasn't wasted. None of it. Even the pain had purpose. Even the silence was sacred. You didn't see it back then. But today, on July 9, you feel it. Deep inside, something knows it's time. Not time to explain. Not time to convince. Just time to align. Time to rise. Time to step forward without knowing the full path. That's how breakthroughs work. They don't come with clear maps. They come with clear energy. And if you're honest, you can feel that energy today. It's not loud, but it's strong. It's subtle. But it's certain. The breakthrough isn't coming from outside. It's not in what you do. It's in who you've become. So it's in how you carry yourself when nobody's watching. It's in the way you choose to respond to this feeling today, not with fear, but with stillness, not with panic, but with presence. So when the doubt creeps in, when the fear rises, when the old voices return, remind yourself of one thing: you were prepared for this. You didn't arrive at this day by accident. You were built for it. And now it's time to receive what that silent preparation has been making space for. This is not a test. This is a transition from the old to the new, from the hidden to the revealed, from the struggle to the strength. All of it starts with a simple decision: to stop questioning whether you're ready and to start showing up like you already are. That is the shift. That is the truth of July 9. There comes a point where running no longer works. Distraction loses its effect. Ooh, the noise you've been surrounding yourself with, the constant scrolling, the overthinking, the chasing, it all becomes too loud. And on a day like July 9, when everything inside you starts to feel unsettled, you begin to notice it. Something feels off, and yet deeper than that, something feels like it's finally trying to get your attention. This feeling today is not a problem. It's not something to escape. It's the inner voice you've been avoiding, the one that speaks in silence, the one that knows what you need, so not what you want. For too long, you've buried that voice, covered it with plans, with tasks, with excuses. But on July 9, so the universe becomes still just long enough for you to hear it again. And this time, you can't ignore it. It doesn't scream. It doesn't beg. It simply waits for you to stop running from yourself. Because the truth is, nothing around you needs to change until something within you does. The discomfort you feel today is not the world pressing on you. It's your own truth rising up from beneath all the stories you've told yourself. The story that you're not ready. The story that you need more time. The story that you're waiting for a sign. But July 9 is that sign. You've been asking for clarity. You've been searching for purpose. But every time that clarity knocks, you've turned away. Not because you're weak, but because you were afraid of what it would ask from you. Growth is not comfortable. It demands honesty. And today, the energy that surrounds you is asking for exactly that: honesty. Not to others, to yourself. Ask yourself, why do I keep avoiding silence? Why do I feel the need to stay distracted? Why do I fear being alone with my thoughts? The answer is simple: because in silence, the truth becomes louder. And you know that once you hear it, you can't unhear it. You'll be called to act. You'll be called to change. You'll be called to stop pretending. That's the cost of growth, the death of the false self, the one you've built to survive, the one you wear to keep others comfortable. But July 9 isn't about survival. It's about alignment. And alignment begins with presence, with facing yourself, with sitting quietly, not because everything is solved, but because you're finally ready to stop running from the parts of you that hurt. This is not weakness. This is courage. The courage to feel, the courage to listen, the courage to let your inner world rise to the surface. The noise has always been a shield, a way to delay this moment, But now that shield is breaking. That's why today feels heavier than usual. That's why you're more sensitive. That's why the smallest thoughts are starting to feel like major truths. Because your soul is tired of being silenced, it's ready to speak, but it won't shout. It never does. It waits for your stillness. That is why today, July 9, is not a day to escape into noise. It is a day to turn to yourself, to sit with the feelings you've buried, to ask real questions, not for answers, but for awareness. What am I avoiding? What part of me is ready to grow even if I'm afraid? This is where it begins. Not with action, but with truth. Not with doing more, but with running less. Less from your emotions, less from your intuition, less from the discomfort that has been showing you exactly what needs to change. Because everything you want, the peace, the purpose, the success, it doesn't live out there. It lives inside the very silence you keep trying to avoid. And if you can sit in it long enough, if you can breathe through it instead of fleeing from it, you'll start to hear something real, something that has been waiting to guide you. This is why July 9 matters, not because something magical happens in the world, but because something powerful happens within you. You wake up to yourself. You realize the escape isn't working. And more than that, you realize it was never meant to. The pain, the confusion, the strange feeling in your body today, it's all part of the return to presence, the return to truth. So you don't need to change your whole life today. You just need to stop ignoring what you already know. The voice within you isn't angry. It's patient, it doesn't demand, it invites. And today, that invitation is louder than usual. That's why you feel like this. That's why July 9 feels heavier, deeper, different. It's not the universe warning you, it's your soul waking up. So stop running, stop filling every quiet space with more noise. Sit down, close your eyes, listen. What rises might be uncomfortable, but it will be real. And from realness comes growth. From truth comes alignment. From silence comes everything you've been chasing. July 9 is not here to shake your world. It's here to open your eyes. And once they're open, you'll never look at yourself the same again. The mistake most people make is waiting to see the breakthrough before they believe it's real. Waiting for something outside of them to shift so they finally feel permission to move forward. But that's not how it works. That's not how growth happens. And on a day like July 9, that waiting ends, not because something outside has changed, but because something inside has. What you're feeling today, that strange sensation, the inner restlessness, that sense that something's coming, it's not your imagination, it's real. But it's not proof, it's presence. Your breakthrough doesn't begin with results. It begins with what you feel right now. That quiet voice, that subtle nudge, that shift in awareness. It all starts there. Most people ignore this part. They want to skip to the finish line. They want the reward without the readiness. But July 9 is not the reward. It's the reminder. It's the reminder that something has already begun, whether you can see it or not. The energy is moving. The direction has shifted. You don't need to force it. You just need to feel it. And trust what you feel. You may not know what comes next. That's okay. You're not supposed to. Breakthrough doesn't wait until you're certain. It begins when you become still enough to notice what is already unfolding right now inside you. Before the outer success, before the change shows up in your life, it shows up in your presence. It shows up in how you sit with yourself today on July 9. In how you respond to that feeling inside you. Do you ignore it again? Do you explain it away? Or do you pause and realize this is how it starts? The transformation doesn't need noise. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need the world to validate it. It needs your attention. That's it. Attention to the subtle shift inside of you. Attention to the way your thoughts feel different today. Attention to the way you're drawn to stillness. These aren't accidents. They are signs, not from the universe out there, from the universe within you. But if you keep chasing proof, you'll miss the process. Because the process never begins with proof. It begins with faith, not blind faith, but the kind that's built from experience, the kind that says, I've made it through worse. I've carried heavier things. I've felt this kind of shift before, and it always meant something. Today is one of those days. July 9 is not a beginning, it's a confirmation, a quiet confirmation that something inside you is no longer willing to wait, that a part of you is ready, not fully confident, not completely fearless, but ready. And that's enough. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to trust what you're feeling right now, because this is how it begins. Not with certainty, but with sensitivity, with being willing to feel before you see, with learning to trust yourself, not because the world gives you permission, but because you've learned to recognize your own signals. That strange energy you carry today, that's a signal. That's your inner compass turning on. You don't need to decode it. You just need to follow it. The world trains you to move only when things are clear. But July 9 is asking something else from you. It's asking you to move when things are real, even if they're not clear. And right now, what you feel is real. That's stirring, that quiet urgency, that calm awareness. It's all real, and it's all part of the breakthrough that's already begun. So stop searching for signs outside of you. They won't come in the form you expect. They rarely do. The real signs are emotional. They're energetic. They're invisible to the eye, but impossible to ignore once you've learned to feel them. That's what July 9 brings. A moment to practice that kind of awareness, a chance to choose presence over panic, stillness over noise. You're not waiting for the breakthrough. You're in it right now. It may be small, it may be subtle, but it's alive. And it's asking you to stop waiting to feel worthy. Stop waiting for the world to validate what your soul already knows. You've grown, you've changed, and today you feel it. Maybe for the first time in a while. That's not coincidence, that's alignment. And all alignment needs is trust. Trust in what you feel. Trust in what you've lived. Trust in what's trying to be born inside you. Let today be the moment you stop ignoring your own evolution. You don't need to force it. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to allow what's already happening. So breathe, pause, and remember, this July 9 didn't come to show you something outside. It came to reveal what's already inside. A breakthrough that begins in silence, a shift that starts in presence. Oh, you don't need to see it to know it's real. You already feel it. And that's enough. So there are moments in life when you feel like something bigger is moving. You can't explain it. You don't know where it's coming from, but it's there. A quiet presence, a feeling that something is guiding you. Today, on July 9, you are feeling that presence stronger than usual. Maybe it shows up as a strange calm, maybe as a wave of emotion that comes without warning, or maybe just a soft voice inside that says, keep going. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, but it's real. This is not an accident. This is how life speaks to you when it wants to show you something deeper. The world is not always going to give you clear signs, but the way you feel right now, this shift inside you, is not random. It's not confusion. It's communication. It's a message, not from somewhere else, but from within. You're being reminded that you are not alone in this journey, that everything you've been through, everything you're going through is leading you somewhere greater. When things get quiet, we often panic. We think something's wrong. We think we've lost direction. But on July 9, the silence is not punishment. It's guidance. It's the moment you are meant to stop, to listen, to reconnect with yourself. Because sometimes the universe doesn't change your circumstances. Sometimes it changes you. And when you change, everything else begins to shift. There are no mistakes in the timing of this feeling. It didn't come too early, and it's not too late. It came now because now is when you're ready. You may not feel ready. Your mind might still doubt it, but your soul knows. That's why you're feeling this. That's why July 9 feels like a turning point. not on the outside, but deep inside you. You've been holding a lot, carrying things in silence, fighting battles nobody sees. And even though you've kept going, a part of you has wondered if it's all for something. Today, the answer is yes. This feeling, this energy in your body is not just emotion, it's confirmation, a quiet way of telling you keep going. Don't stop now. You're closer than you think. God doesn't always speak in words. Most of the time, he moves through your emotions, through your body, through a sense of timing that doesn't make sense to the mind but feels deeply right in the heart. On July 9, ooh, that's exactly what's happening. You're not just feeling off, you're being aligned. You're being reminded that you're not walking blindly, you're being guided. When you stop fighting the feeling, when you stop running from the stillness, something beautiful happens. You begin to see that this isn't a sign of weakness. It's strength, it's wisdom. It's your system recalibrating, preparing you for what comes next. And yes, something is coming. Not because you force it, but because you've been growing into it. Growth doesn't always look exciting. Most of the time, it looks like reflection, like solitude, like quiet transformation. And that's exactly what's happening now. You're not stuck. You're being shaped. You're not lost. You're being redirected. You're not forgotten. You're being trusted with more. There are things you've been asking for: peace, purpose, alignment. But those things don't arrive all at once. They come in layers. And each time you feel this strange pull inside, it means another layer is being revealed. Another layer is ready to be released. July 9 is one of those moments. A layer is ready to fall away. An old version of you is ready to be left behind. Don't ignore the feeling. Don't try to rush past it. Let it speak. Let it show you what's shifting. Let it teach you what needs to be let go. Because growth only happens when you're willing to release. You cannot carry the old into the new. And what you're feeling today is a clear signal that you're ready for the new. Even if it scares you, even if it's uncertain, you are ready. So trust it. Trust the feeling. Trust the silence. Trust the way your body knows before your mind does. This is not just another day. This is not just another mood. This is alignment in motion. This is preparation. This is the quiet whisper of God reminding you, I'm with you. I've always been with you. And now it's time. So you don't need to understand everything. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to stay present, stay grounded, keep showing up. So the energy of July 9 is not here to overwhelm you. It's here to remind you you're supported, you're being watched over. And most importantly, you are growing right now, even if you can't see the full picture yet. So breathe. Don't run. Don't resist. Let the energy do what it came to do. Let it realign you. Let it soften you. Let it call you forward. Because no matter what your mind tells you, you are not alone. Not today. Not ever. And this feeling, it's not a burden. It's a message. A message that your time is near. That your breakthrough is not somewhere in the distance. It's already begun. And July 9 is the day you were meant to feel that truth, not in your head, but in your soul.